So the Nintendo Switch 2 is about a month or so old, and you might be looking for something to play on the system. Maybe Cyberpunk and Street Fighter aren't exactly your cup of tea. Mario Kart World has ran its course, no pun intended. So maybe you're looking for something a little bit different to play. Today I want to highlight two games that I've been playing on my Nintendo Switch 2 that are very different experiences from one another, but I'm having a lot of fun playing these games, and I think a lot of you guys will enjoy these games too. The first game we're going to take a look at is System Shock 2. Now, by the time this video goes out, the game should be available for you to purchase, but System Shock 2 is an old PC game that has been remastered for modern consoles. This is playing on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know if there's any sort of difference between the Switch 2 version of the game and the Switch 1 version of the game, but what I do know is this game is pretty freaking cool. It's essentially a action RPG game that has some pretty crazy RPG elements where you are on a ship where there is a genetic mutation that has ravaged the ship, and you're essentially trying to survive, figure out what happened with this mutation, and try and make some sense of it all. I really like this game though because of the level of detail that is kind of prevalent in it. Like, things can be destroyed and you're actually sort of encouraged to kind of destroy things and play around and figure out different paths. There are a bunch of different ways to kind of play this game. You could be sort of a brute force person like I tend to play as in a lot of games, or you could be more stealthy, or you could be more psychic based abilities. There are psychic abilities that you have access to and you can level up. When you start the game, you basically choose like which path you kind of want to go down, and then you play the game. I'm not sure if there's any sort of differences in the story or the outcome depending on which path you choose, but I like the variety of like gameplay elements that it's thrown at me already. I admittedly haven't played a ton of this game yet, but from what I have played, it plays really well. Like, I like the different guns that I have access to right now. I just have, a standard pistol, but you get access to different types of ammunition. There are melee weapons, as you can see, my crowbar kind of reminds me a little bit of like Half-Life, to be honest with you, which is kind of weird because I've actually never played through Half-Life 1. I've played a decent amount of it on the Dreamcast of all things. But like it feels very Half-Life-y and kind of a bit more with all of the different mechanics. There's also like hacking that you can do. You can level up your character to your liking and focus on different things like agility, how much life you have, or you could be like a hacker and you could hack into various terminals and stuff like that. Breaking windows, like, I don't know, it's so satisfying to break a window in a video game. Here's an area where I'm supposed to be going because I need that charger, because I need to charge up something in that charger and then put it in a place where it belongs so that I have access to something. And I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen here. Oh no, please. I feel like something's happening. Oh no, that's not good. Xerxes is kind of like the dude who took over the ship or something like that. There's a woman that's talking to you. I don't really know, man. I don't really know. But what I do know is this game is pretty freaking cool. And this is something that I feel like, you could definitely enjoy it on the Switch 2. Like I said, I have played this entire game on the Switch 2 because I'm not touching my Switch 1 anytime soon. I don't want to play that sort of crusty thing as far as playing games are concerned. So I'm not 100% sure if there's like, a distinct advantage to playing on the Switch 2, but it looks and runs great on the system. I actually played a lot of this in handheld mode. The only time I've played it docked was when I was actually capturing this footage, and I do think it looks a little bit better docked than in handheld mode. But System Shock 2, 25th anniversary. This is definitely a really fun game. If you kind of like the vibe of it, you like games like Half-Life, action RPG games that have a first-person perspective and a sci-fi theme, I think you're going to like this game. And then the complete opposite, Ruffy and the Riverside. Now, this game, if you purchase it on the Switch 2, it does run better than it runs on the Switch 1. The game targets 60 frames per second and hits it more often than not on the Switch 2, whereas on the Switch 1, there are bigger dips within the gameplay. And Ruffy and the Riverside, like I said, this is a complete polar opposite of System Shock 2, but it is a super, super fun game. I have definitely been enjoying my time with this game. First and foremost, the visual style. This visual style looks just gorgeous. And yes, there is some pop-in. Yes, there is a weird thing that kind of happens with the shadows as you're walking around, and sometimes like a giant area will just pop in. But this is also not a Mario game, or should I say a Banjo-Kazooie game, because it definitely has a lot in common with Banjo-Kazooie. But I think this art style is just absolutely gorgeous and absolutely breathtaking, and it definitely relies on the puzzle aspect of a puzzle platformer more so than a game like Super Mario 64. Now, of course, there are a million collectibles that you can get. I was just depositing some butterflies that I have collected. Tons of collectibles, tons of things to do within the game, but you could see the little bee character that you have with you allows you to kind of hover over areas, which is definitely very Banjo-Kazooie-esque. But that's kind of not like the main draw of the game and kind of the main gimmick of the game, because the main gimmick of the game is actually something, it's honestly weird how well the main gimmick of the game works, because this is a smaller budget game as far as, you know, the development costs that probably went into it and stuff. I like these little crow guys too. They always look very sinister. There's tons of different puzzles to solve, and like you could buy the solution to the puzzle as well, which sometimes I do, because I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't want to think too much. Like I'll probably end up buying that. You do have the ability to punch things as Ruffy. Look at him. He's such a funny little character. But the main gimmick of this game is the ability to like transform things and swap textures, essentially is what it's called. And you could take different things from the environment and change them to help you solve a puzzle or to help you advance to a different area. So, like, for instance, if there's lava in your way, okay, you could take water and then change the lava into water and stuff like that. And, like, some of these puzzles, I'm only a couple hours into this game, some of these puzzles get very, very intricate and very almost like, wow, I wouldn't have even thought of that if, you know, if I was stupid. And, you know, like there was a little pop in how it just like pops in the whole level and stuff like that. That's one thing I hope that they actually do, like a Switch 2 upgrade patch, or do something in terms of the game itself with the Switch 1 version, to where if you're playing it on a Switch 2, it does help a bit with the pop in, because that can be a little bit distracting. But I don't necessarily feel like it takes away from like the entire vibe of the game or anything like that. So we have metal here. I can make this tree metal. What's the point of making a metal tree? Absolutely nothing. But you can see how once you get into different puzzles and stuff like that, and once you start going to different areas that have a reliance on the puzzles, you'll start to see like how everything works and how all of these different swaps that you do like actually take effect. And I think it's an absolutely brilliant mechanic that, I mean, even AAA games aren't really doing. Like, there's a water rock. Like, that's cool, and you know, who doesn't like a water rock? But I've really been having fun with this game. Like, yeah, you know, it could use a little bit more polish for the Switch 2 version, but I don't think it's, you know, this isn't a huge AAA game or anything like that. The puzzles are cool, the graphics are cool, the controls are very tight and solid, and I think the music is kind of underrated as well. There's some really good, like, reggae style songs in some of the levels. I didn't get a chance to capture any of that, but it's actually really well done, and, you know, kind of catchy as well. But I have been thoroughly enjoying this game, and I think if you're a fan of 3D platformers, like, yeah, I get it, Donkey Kong is coming out, but like, why not check out Ruffy in the Riverside as well? Like, are there such a thing as too many 3D platformers? So essentially, these are two games that I've been spending time with and I have been having fun with playing on my Nintendo Switch 2. Let me know in the comment section down below, what are you thinking about these games? Are they of interest to you? Have you already picked them up? Have you maybe already been playing them? And if so, what do you think about them? Let people in the comment section know. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just think both of these games are super fun, and there's not a lot of people talking about them, so maybe we can kind of change the conversation a little bit, get some more eyes on both of these games, because I think they're worth checking out, man. And I'll be playing these right alongside of Donkey Kong Country Bonanza and Tony Hawk 3 and 4. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.